They told you to be nice, to say yes when you wanted to say no, to be agreeable, to smile, to never raise your voice, to not cause trouble. You learned that people liked you more when you were pleasant, easygoing, and quiet. You learned how to avoid conflict, how to stay small. But here is the problem no one told you. Being nice, constantly nice, is a disguise, and it is slowly destroying you. You see, nice is not the same as kind. Kindness comes from strength, but nice? It often comes from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of being disliked, alone, abandoned. And when fear controls you, you stop showing people who you really are. You mold yourself to fit what they want. You suppress your anger, your opinions, your desires, until one day you do not even know what you want anymore. You are liked by everyone, except yourself. Psychologically, this is not just a personality trait. It is a trauma response, and it is called fawning, the people-pleasing survival mechanism that keeps you in a state of emotional servitude. You trade your authenticity for approval. You betray your own needs so others will not abandon you. But here is the brutal truth. Nice people finish last because they are not being honest, not with others and not with themselves. They think they are doing the right thing by putting others first, but the world does not reward invisible martyrs. It rewards those who take up space, those who are unapologetic about their truth. Nice people often wonder, why do people walk all over me? Why am I always overlooked? Why do the selfish ones get ahead while I stay stuck? The answer is simple. Because they taught the world that they do not matter. They taught the world that they will stay quiet, that they will sacrifice, that they will be nice no matter the cost. And the cost? It is heavy. Chronic anxiety, resentment, burnout. A life that feels hollow because it was built on appeasing others. You cannot build a meaningful life by constantly abandoning yourself. Psychologists have studied this. Dr. Gabor Mate calls it the disease to please. It is not just emotional, it is physiological. When you suppress your emotions to maintain peace, your body keeps the score. It stores that tension in your muscles, your gut, your heart, and over time, it breaks you down. You might think being nice keeps you safe, but in truth, it keeps you powerless. Because power comes from boundaries, from saying, this is who I am, this is what I need, not from endless compromise. There is something else no one tells you. The world does not respect nice. The world respects real. Being real means being clear, being honest, being willing to disappoint people. Because guess what? Disappointing others is inevitable. But disappointing yourself, that is a choice. Nice people avoid confrontation. But confrontation is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is the bridge between what you feel and what others know. Without it, you live in a world of assumption, resentment, and silence. And silence does not protect you. It only buries you deeper. When you say yes to things you hate, when you apologize for things that are not your fault, when you overextend, overgive, and over-accommodate, you do not look strong. You look desperate. And desperation repels respect. Think about the people you admire. Are they just nice, or are they courageous? Do they speak up? Do they stand firm? Do they walk away when their worth is not seen? You admire them because they are real. They have boundaries. They know their value. You too have that power inside you, but it has been buried under years of social conditioning, under guilt, fear, and shame. You were taught that saying no is selfish, that prioritizing yourself is wrong. that your worth is tied to how useful or likable you are. But that is a lie. You do not exist to be liked. You exist to be whole. When you finally realize this, everything changes. You stop chasing people. You stop begging for validation. You stop explaining yourself. You move from nice to strong, from invisible to undeniable. This shift is not about becoming harsh. It is about becoming honest. It is about aligning your actions with your truth. Because the truth is, people-pleasing is not love. It is manipulation in disguise, even if it is unconscious. You give to get. You smile to be accepted. You stay silent to avoid being left. But deep down, you are screaming, wishing someone would finally see you. But how can they when you never show them who you really are? The journey from nice to real is painful. You will lose people. You will disappoint others. You will be called selfish, rude, arrogant, but do it anyway. Because what is on the other side is freedom. Nice people do not finish last because they are weak. They finish last because the world does not reward behavior that does not demand respect. We are told to be kind, be patient, be understanding. And that sounds like good advice, right? But when kindness becomes passivity, when patience turns into self-erasure, when understanding becomes silence in the face of being used, that is no longer goodness. That is submission. Nice people are often not nice because they are truly kind. They are nice because they are afraid. Afraid of conflict. Afraid of rejection. Afraid of being seen as selfish. So they give and give and give. They become the emotional doormat of every relationship. They hope, silently, that someone will finally notice how much they sacrifice and finally give something back. But the world does not work like that. People treat you the way you teach them to treat you. And if you teach them that you always say yes, that you tolerate disrespect, that you do not speak up when your boundaries are crossed, then you have trained them to see you as someone who does not matter, someone who will be there no matter what, someone who will finish last because they never asked to finish first. The psychology of the nice person is rooted in something deeper than manners. It is rooted in childhood. Many nice people grew up in environments where love had to be earned, where approval was conditional, where peace depended on being pleasing. They learned to smile when they were hurting, to say it is okay when it absolutely was not. They learned that being quiet was safer than being real. So they became agreeable. They became the fixer, the helper, the one who never asked for too much. But underneath it all, there is rage, exhaustion, bitterness. Because no matter how much they do, it is never enough. No one sees them. No one truly values them. Because the world does not reward quiet suffering. The world rewards those who speak their value out loud. So here is the truth that breaks the cycle. Being kind does not mean being passive. Being compassionate does not mean being invisible. You can be good and still say no. You can be empathetic and still protect your time, your energy, your self-worth. You are not a bad person for refusing to be used. And in fact, when you finally start standing up for yourself, something shifts. The people who only loved your silence will fall away. And the ones who truly see your worth, they will rise to meet you. Nice people finish last when they believe that their needs are less important than everyone else's. When they mistake being liked for being loved. when they confuse being agreeable with being respected. But the people who change their lives, who stop finishing last, learn to reclaim something essential: their voice, their boundaries, their right to take up space. They stop asking for permission and they start choosing themselves. Because the world does not need more people who are nice out of fear. It needs people who are kind from strength, who know their worth so deeply that they no longer tolerate anything less. But this is not a call to become cruel. It is a call to become clear. Clear on what you value. Clear on how you let others treat you. Clear on the kind of life you are trying to build. Being nice is often about control. We try to manage how others perceive us. We try to avoid being disliked, disapproved of, or alone. But the cost is high. It strips you of your authenticity. It forces you to betray yourself slowly. And it conditions others to ignore your needs, your time, and your worth. So what happens if you stop? If you stop bending, stop pleasing, stop hiding your truth just to keep the peace? At first, it feels terrifying. You will fear rejection. You will fear abandonment. You will fear the loss of approval. But slowly, something powerful happens. You realize that you were not being loved. You were being used. And in that realization, you will find your strength. You will learn that setting boundaries is not rude. It is a requirement for self-respect. You will learn that saying no does not make you difficult. It makes you decisive. And you will learn that being disliked by the wrong people is the greatest filter you can ever have. The people who once relied on your silence, on your guilt, on your inability to say no, they will leave. Let them, because what comes next is something no nice person ever expected: respect. Not from others, but from yourself. You begin to walk taller. You speak more slowly, more intentionally. You no longer fill the silence with apologies or explanations. You stop seeking validation, and you begin to command presence. People notice, not because you are loud, but because you are rooted. You are no longer available for manipulation. You are no longer trapped in performance. You are finally living in truth. And yes, some will call you arrogant. Some will say you changed. Some will say you have become cold. But that is only because they lost access to the version of you who tolerated everything. They were never in love with you. They were in love with your compliance. Now they face your boundaries. And boundaries are the end of illusions. In the end, you will discover this paradox. The more you stop trying to be nice, the more you attract people who genuinely care. Why? Because when you respect yourself, you teach others how to treat you. When you honor your needs, you give others permission to do the same. And when you stop performing for approval, you finally connect from a place of truth. This is what real confidence looks like. Not loud, not aggressive, not arrogant, but still, quiet, unshakable. So no, nice people do not finish last. People who betray themselves do. People who shrink. People who silence their needs for acceptance. But the ones who rise, they are the ones who reclaim their power. Not by becoming cruel, but by becoming real. They no longer smile when they want to cry. They no longer say yes when they mean no. They no longer exist for others' comfort. They choose themselves. And in that moment, they stop finishing last, because they are no longer even running the same race. They are writing their own rules, living by their own truth. And that is a life no one can take from them.